Write an affidavit for immigration. There are many types of affidavits that may be required from someone wishing to enter the United States. One of the most common one is the Affidavit of Support. This is submitted in cases where a prospective immigrant to the United States needs to present concrete evidence from a sponsoring individual to facilitate the immigration process and well as provide proof that the immigrant has family or relatives to provide him financial support until he is settled and has gainful employment. This assures the government that the new immigrant will not be depending on government aid for survival. The Affidavit of Support should be written by a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident who is sponsoring the prospective immigrant. Below are some tips on how to write an affidavit for immigration. Check out the poverty guidelines in the Form I-864P. This will help you determine if you are qualified to provide financial support to the family-based immigrant that you are sponsoring based on the income requirements for your family size. Check out the latest poverty guidelines to check how much is the minimum income requirement for you to qualify. Check out the other guidelines and exemptions to help you in accomplishing Form I-846. If you cannot meet the income requirement on your own, you can have a joint affidavit with your wife or someone who is your beneficiary that is registered in your income tax returns. You can also use your assets to meet the minimum requirement. You should also submit an evidence of income by getting a proof of employment from your current employer, written in the company letterhead and signed by the authorized company representative. You should also include copies of your most recent pay slips and /or bank statements for fund transfers if you get paid through bank deposits. If you will be using your assets, then there should be concrete evidence of ownership as well as how much the asset is worth. Liquid assets are more favorable. Prepare proof that you are a regular taxpayer. You need a transcript of your most recent income tax payment by downloading IRS Form 4506T, completing the form and sending it to the IRS. It may take about 2 weeks before you can get your income tax transcript as well as other forms that may be required. Fill up Form I-864. This should be accomplished completely and signed. Collate the pages and arrange them in the proper order. The form should be accomplished in capital letters. Write your name, your social security number, the name of the form, in this case, Form I-864, and the case number on the top right-hand corner of the paper. Assemble all the copies of the supporting documents. Write a cover letter addressed to the USCIS with a list of all the supporting documents that you have enclosed together with the form. You should also include the cover letter that you have received from the NVC. This is a barcode cover letter. Make 2 sets of photocopies of all the documents that you will be sending to the USCIS. Keep 1 copy for yourself and send the other set to the immigrant. He should include it with his visa application packet that he needs to accomplish at the U.S. Embassy or Consulate office if the immigrant is residing overseas. Make sure that you have read and understood all the guidelines and requirements included in the documentation for accomplishing Form I-864. It can be tricky and the immigration process cannot move on when there are errors and discrepancies in the form. Otherwise, you have to wait for the paperwork to be processed and the immigrant and you notified that the immigration application has been approved.